Tablet number 4, Cosmic Creation Story from Babylon 1100 BCE. If you didn't watch the first 3, go check them out. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Tablet number 4. They founded a princely shrine for him, and took up residence as ruler before his fathers. You are honored among the great gods. Your destiny is unequaled. Your word has the power of Anu. O Marduk, you are honored among the great gods. Your destiny is unequaled. Your word has the power of Anu. From this day onwards, your command shall not be altered. Yours is the power to exalt and abase. May your utterance be law, your word never be falsified. None of the gods shall transgress your limits. May endowment required for the gods' shrines, whenever they have temples, be established for your place. O Marduk, you are our champion. We hereby give you sovereignty over all the whole universe. Sit in the assembly, and your word shall be preeminent. May your weapons never miss. May they smash your enemies. O Lord, spare the life of him who trusts in you, but drain the life of the God who has espoused evil. They set up their midst one constellation, and then they addressed Marduk, their son. May your decree, O Lord, impress the gods, command to destroy and to recreate, and let it be so. Speak, and let the constellation vanish. Speak to it again, and let the constellation reappear. He spoke, and his word to the constellation vanished. He spoke it again, and the constellation was recreated. When the gods, his fathers, saw how effective his utterance was, they rejoiced. They proclaimed, Marduk is king! They vested him with scepter, throne, and staff of office. They gave him an unfaceable weapon to crush the foe. Go, and cut off the life of Tiamat. Let the winds bear her blood to us as good news. The gods, his fathers, thus decreed the destiny of the Lord, and set him on the path of peace and obedience. He fashioned a bow, designated it as his weapon, feathered the arrow, set it in the string. He lifted up the mace and carried it in his right hand, slung the bow and quivered at his side, put lightning in front of him. His body was filled with an ever-blazing flame. He made a net to encircle Tiamat within it, marshaled the 4 winds so that no part of her could escape. South wind, north wind, east wind, west wind. The gift of his father Anu, he kept close to him, the net at his side. He created the evil wind, the tempest, the whirlwind, the 4 winds, the 7 winds, the tornado, the infaceable facing wind. He released the winds, which he had created, 7 of them. They advanced behind him to make turmoil inside Tiamat. The Lord raised the flood weapon, his great weapon, and mounted the frightful, unfaceable storm chariot. He had yoked to it a team of 4 and had harnessed to its side Slayer, Pitiless, Racer, and Flyer. Their lips were drawn back. Their teeth carried poison. They knew not exhaustion. They can only devastate. He stationed on his right fearsome fight and conflict. On the left battle to knock down every contender. Clothed in a cloak of awesome armor, his head was crowned with a terrible radiance. The Lord set out and took to the road, and set his face towards Tiamat, who raged out of control. In his lips he gripped a spell. In his hands he grasped a herb to counter poison. Then they thronged about him. The gods thronged about him. The gods his fathers thronged about him. The gods thronged about him. The Lord drew near and looked into the middle of Tiamat. He was trying to find out the strategy of Kingu, her lover. As he looked, his mind became confused. His will crumbled, and his actions were muddled. As for the gods, his helpers who marched at his side, when they saw the warrior, the leader, their looks were strained. Tiamat cast her spell. She did not even turn her neck. In her lips, she was holding falsehood lies. How powerful is your attacking force, or Lord, or the gods? The whole assembly of them has gathered to your place. The Lord lifted up the flood weapon, his great weapon, and sent a message to Tiamat, who feigned goodwill, saying, Why are you so friendly on the surface when your depths conspire to muster a battle force? Just because the sons were noisy and disrespectful to their fathers, should you who gave birth to them reject compassion? You named Kingu as your lover. You appointed him to the rights of the Anu power, wrongfully his. You sought out evil for Anshar, king of the gods. So you have compounded your wickedness against the gods my fathers. Let your hosts prepare. Let them gird themselves with your weapons. Stand forth, and you and I shall do a single combat. When Tiamat heard this, she went wild. She lost her temper. Tiamat screamed aloud in passion. Her lower parts shook from the depths. She recited the incantation and kept casting her spell. Pew! Meanwhile, the gods of battle were sharpening their weapons. Face to face they came, Tiamat and Marduk, sage of the gods. They engaged in combat. They closed for battle. The Lord spread his net and made it encircled her fate. To her face he dispatched the Imhula wind, which had been behind. Tiamat opened her mouth to swallow it, and he forced in the Imhala wind, so that she could not close her lips. Fierce winds descended in her belly. Her insides were constipated, and she stretched her mouth wide. He shot an arrow which pierced her belly, split down the middle, and slit her heart, vanquished her, and extinguished her life. He threw down her corpse and stood upon her. When he had slain Tiamat, the leader, he broke up her regiments. Her assembly was scattered. Then the gods, her helpers, who had marched at her side, began to tremble, panicked, and turned tail. Although he allowed them to come out and spared their lives, they were surrounded. They could not flee. Then he tied them up and smashed their weapons. They were thrown into the net and sat there ensnared. They cowered back, filled with woe. They had to bear his punishment, confined to prison. And as for the dozens of creatures covered in fearsome rays, the gang of demons who all marched on their right, he fixed them with nose ropes and tied their arms. He trampled their battle filth beneath them. As for Kingu, who had once been the greatest among them, he defeated him and counted him among the dead gods, wrestled from him the tablet of destinies, wrongfully his, sealed it with his own seal, and pressed it to his breast. When he had defeated and killed his enemies, and he had proclaimed the submissive foe his slave, he had set up a triumphal cry of Anshar over all the enemy, and had achieved the desire of Nidamud. Marduk the warrior strengthened his hold over the captive gods, and to Tiamat, whom he had ensnared, he turned back. The Lord trampled the lower part of Tiamat. With his unsparing mace, smashed her skull, severed the arteries of her blood, and made the north wind carry it off as good news. His fathers saw it and were jubilant. They rejoiced, arranged to greet him with presents, greetings, gifts. The Lord rested and inspected her corpse. He divided the monstrous shape and created marvels from it. He sliced her in half like a fish for frying. Half for her he put up on the roof of the sky, drew a bolt across and made a guard hold it. Her waters he arranged so that they could not escape. He crossed the heavens and sought out a shrine. He leveled Absu, dwelling of Nidamud. The Lord measured the dimensions of Absu, and a large temple which he built in its image was Eshara. In the great shrine Eshara, he had created as the sky. He founded cult centers for Anu, Alil, and Ea. He fashioned stands for the great gods. End of tablet 4. Listen to tablet number 5. Man, that was good. Watch the next video, like and subscribe.